right, you guys, it's episode 75 of Inner Demons, and straight off the rip, I'm going to get straight into it. So check it out. On the real, though, I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for the next Inner Demons. I left you guys on a cliffhanger. I did it purposely. You know, the other thing I was thinking about, too, is I need to get you guys out some more war stories. I just straight let that whole series go. I'm going to bring it back. Some of you have been asking about it. Others have been asking about the Q&As. I want to bring those back as well. You know, I answer a lot of questions on my lives, but a lot of the times the way that I used to do it was you guys would submit a question, put it in the community. In any comment, I would find it, and then I give you a more thorough answer. You know, I have more of a time to give you, you know, a more thorough and concise answer. So go ahead and submit any questions that you guys have, any questions that you might want me to cover and go in depth on, and I'll find them. Anyways, let's get straight to it. Episode 74. I told you guys that, you know, I was at the point where Dancing Bear had just screened everything, pretty much went over everything and concluded the same thing I'd been saying all along. You know, I'm not saying that I shouldn't be held accountable for speaking the way that I did, but it didn't warrant me being in the situation that I was in. I wasn't tapping out. I didn't check in, none of that. So, you know, he pretty much concluded that I shouldn't be over there. And if that was going to happen, it wasn't going to be determined in the county jail. That was going to happen once I got up to the Bay. And I was okay with that. That's all I had ever asked for in that county jail, was just a little bit of, you know, a little bit of due process. Just give me the benefit of the doubt. Let the case play out. You know, what's the harm in letting the case play out? If I'm still there, I still got my best foot forward, and I'm still, you know, I'm still trying to be a part of the team. Let my case play out. Leave me alone. Put me on freeze, do all that good stuff. But, you know, let's see what happens when the case plays out and everything comes out. But, you know, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. So anyways, that's pretty much what he concluded. He went over everything, went through all the police reports, the transcripts, every piece of paper, every document that I had. And, you know, his conclusion was, you shouldn't be over there. Let's start pushing. Let's start pushing from both ends. When classification comes up on the tiers and they do their walks, you push from over there, and I'm going to push on this end, and I'll have the homies, you know, on the tier over here. I'll have them start pushing as well. So that's what we did. However, in the meantime, in between time, I sent a one-time back to him, and I told him, that's all fine and dandy. That's cool. You know, anytime classification came up on the tier, I would tell him, hey, put me in an observation cell, leave me the fuck alone. That's all I'm asking for you guys. You know, if you're not going to put me on an active tier, put me in an observation cell and put me in double red. And the entire time, you know, that I was pushing that line, I kept getting brushed off, or, you know, they would pass the buck. They'd tell me, you know, hey, it's up to the sergeant. We're out of it. We don't got no say in it. So I wasn't getting nowhere. I was spinning my wheels, but I felt like, you know what, I had to do something. So I told Dancing Bear, look, I'll push from this end. When they come up, they should be coming up this weekend. They come up twice a week. When they come up, I'm going to hit them up. And from that point on, if I don't get no play, if they don't act like they're not going to do nothing, then I'm going to start spearing cats up here. I'm going to start spearing cats. And once I start, I'm going to keep it pushing. You know, I'm going to become a management problem up here. I'm not going to just spear one individual and be done with it. I'm going to keep spearing cats until they get me out of this, off this tier, and they decide that, you know what, this dude, put him back in double red. He's active. So Dancing Bear was like, yeah, hey, it's all good, but at least, you know, try to exhaust those avenues first. Get at them when they come up on the tier. So that week, you know, I'm like, man, I'm about to catch another case, but fuck it. If this is what's got to happen in order for me to get back, you know, on an active tier, oh well. But wouldn't it be a shame if my case comes back? Because at that point, my case was still in the California Supreme Court. It was still in the California Supreme Court, and I was still waiting on a decision. That's the only reason why I didn't go with Josh at that point. So, you know, the thought crossed my mind that what if I end up sparing somebody and I catch a case, I get convicted on an assault back here, It's a third strike case. Definitely, it's a violent case. And then my original case ends up getting dropped. I'm gonna feel like shit. But when it comes to, you know, my career, when it comes to my status, I didn't have to think twice about it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So I started thinking about my victims. I started thinking about who I was gonna get. Which one of these cats can I get? And to be honest with you guys, I really didn't want to get anybody on the tier back there with me. Not because I had a bond with anybody or because I liked any one of them cats. It's just because I had been living back there amongst them dudes. They were nobodies. They weren't gang members. They didn't have no status. It was nothing like that. They were just some cats that didn't want to function. So, you know, I didn't want to go after any of the cats that were on the tier at that time. However, if I had to, then I had no choice. And I pretty much let it be known. You know, I told them on the tier, I was like, hey, check this out. I'm going to tell you guys like this right here. Some of you know my situation. I mean, there's only 3 of them, but, you know, I think 2 of them knew my situation. And there was a new cat that had come up there. And, you know, I'm trying to get off this tier. I'm trying to get back on an active tier. And I'm just telling you guys, I'm putting you on notice right now. If you walk by my cell, you're going to get speared. So the best thing you guys could do for yourselves right now is just stay in your cells, bird bath, and stay out the way until I finish doing what I got to do. I don't think I'll be here for more than another week, more than another couple of days. I might be gone the next time they run showers. We'll see what happens. So, you know, they're pretty much like, yeah, hey, you ain't got to tell me twice. I'm not trying to come out and get speared, you know. So I let them cats know. I let them know what I was gonna do. So, anyways, I told you guys I had a nice tip, a nice piece of steel that I had found one day when I was going to court. I found it in the court tunnels. It looked like it was a piece of it kind of looked like it was a piece of a socket, the metal piece, you know, one of the steel sockets, the encasing. It looked like it was a chunk of that, but it was a nice chunk. And it was perfect for a spearhead. It was perfect. The way that it was shaped, everything about it was perfect. All I had to do was put some stock on it, make a base with a handle, and I was good to go. Tie it up real tight, use some nylon, some strips of sheet, and I was good to go. So I had pretty much identified one of my targets, and you know, it was a cat that was on South Max, the tier across the hall. Like I told you guys, every now and then, what they would do to run showers, to get showers done faster, is they pop our door for Little Max. They pop it open, and when they would run showers, they'd run South Max into our shower one at a time. So that was, you know, that's what I was hoping that they would do that night, the night that, you know, all this was coming to fruition. So fast forward a little bit. Classification, they had come up on the tier. You know, when they came up there, I got at them. It was Dela Cruz and Cobb. I told them, look, you know, I'm getting at you guys on the up and up, and you know, I'm telling you, before I have to act up or before I have to act like a fool, you know, I'd rather not do that. But you guys need to put me back on an active tier. There's no reason why I should be over here. There's no reason why you guys should classify me the way you're classifying me. I understand you're putting it on your sergeant, and you know, you're putting it off on somebody else so you don't got to deal with it. But the bottom line is you all work classification. You all have a voice, and you know, you guys are the ones that hit these tiers and see what's up. Your sergeant doesn't. So I'm asking you to do what is the right thing and the best thing for everybody. That's to put me back on an active tier. And you know, Cobb was a straight arrow. He pretty much told me, he's like, look, man, he's like, you know, we've ran it all the way up the chain. It's went all the way up to the commander. And you know, they're not messing with you, dude. You're too high profile. You know, you got a serious case. It's a serious issue. It's a liability issue. Now you got this other issue hanging over your head with Joseph Booth and the homicide that took place in this jail. So it's like, man, they're not messing with you. You know, it's not that we don't want to. If he's like, look, man, if it was up to me, if it was really up to me, I put you back on an active tier. If that's what you wanted to do, if you wanted to go, you know, you want to go back active and that's what you want to do with your life, then I would let you. I tell you, you know what? Well, he's like, I shake your hand and tell you good luck. But he's like, well, I mean, I just tell you, hey, good luck. I hope it all works out for you. And I would respect it as a man. But it's not up to me. Dela Cruz, on the other hand, the other classification officer, he was a cool cat. He was another straight arrow, but he was one that thunk outside the box just a little bit. You know, he had a good perspective on everything that was happening, and he was like, you know, I don't see why, you know, they don't put you back down there on Second East or up here on South Max. You know, your people are requesting that you come back. There's no reason why we should keep you in this situation. We need this cell for somebody else that wants to be in this situation. Obviously, you don't. So, you know, he's like, I'll run it by the sergeant again. We've done it numerous times and we've gotten shut down, but I'll run it, see what happens. And I told him, you know what, that's all I'm asking. So that was the last time I seen classification on that tip right there. They smashed off and boom, from that point on, I started putting my spear together, started rolling it. I rolled all my pieces. You know, I had my males and females. So I had a good long piece of, you know, stock, the base of it, so that I could get out my tray slot and damn near practically touch the wall. Just in case, you know, they were escorting somebody by and, you know, he wanted to try to walk close to the wall or something. I made sure that I had enough to touch that wall. So, you know, it took me like a good 2 days of working on a good spear. Nice, tight, you know, the stock was tight. It was wrapped up real tight with sheet and nylon. I put the, you know, the tip on. It was a nasty tip. It was nice. Definitely was, somebody was definitely going to get it. And, you know, it'll probably went in about that deep. So somebody was going to get the business. Anyway, so this is what happens. The next time that they run showers, they run South Max in. And just as I hoped they would, when they started running showers, they popped the door open, our door, meaning that they were gonna run showers in from South Max. And you know, they start running guys into the shower. And the individual that I wanted to get was like the third shower down. So I waited. I had the phone. I made sure that I got the phone. I kept the phone in front of my cell every day. You know, my cell was right in the middle of the tier, and being that the TV was like directly in front, you know, I'm the one that had access to changing the channel. I had the best, you know, the best vantage point to change the channel. So I kept the tray slot open by having the phone in front of my door all the time, unless somebody needed to use it. But I had the phone there, my tray slot's open, everything's a go. I'm ready. You know, I'm ready to do it. They run in the first shower, just like they had done other times. He showers, they bring in the next guy. He showers, boom, and they come with the third guy. And it's the individual that I'd hoped that it was going to be. Big mouth. So, you know, now I'm pretty much timing everything. I know this guy's coming next. I got the spear right here, like kind of like in front of my cell door in the corner. It's just leaning up against the wall right there where I can grab it. So when I hear them on the tier and I can hear them uncuffing somebody, I hear handcuffs. I grab the spear and, well, let me back up. Throw it in reverse because this is an important part. So that day when, you know, the new shift came on, I think they come on at like 5 or 6 o'clock. So the new shift comes on and the CO that works the tier is a cool ass CO. He's the same CO that opened up my gate, walked up in the cell, and was like, "Look, man, I know what you know." Cool ass cat. Cool enough to where I felt that I needed to give him the respect of letting him know, hey, check it out. I'm gonna take care of something tonight, and I'm giving you the respect of letting you know so that you're not disrespected. You don't feel disrespected. I told him, you know, when he came on the tier and he was counting, and I'm like, hey, such and such, can I get at you when you got a minute? And it's important, man. So just give me a couple minutes. So when he's done counting, he comes back and he comes up to my gate and he's like, "What's up, Mendoza?" And I'm like, "Check this out, man. Look, I'm just giving you the respect of letting you know that I'm gonna take care of something on your tier tonight, and I don't want you to feel like I'm blindsided, blindsiding you, and that I'm disrespecting you. Something I'd rather not do, but something I got to do. You know my situation. You understand what's going on. So I'm just giving you a heads up." And he was like, "It's all good. Do what you got to do, man." And he smashed up. So I'm like, okay, it's a go. It's go time. So anyways, now they're running showers. They ran these two cats in, and I hear my target getting cuffed up. That was my cue to grab the spear, and he's still on the other tier. So he's talking. He gets to the end of the tier. There's nobody to talk to, obviously. So he shuts his big mouth and he continues to walk. I got the spear on the tray slot. It's locked and loaded. I'm ready to go. I'm just waiting for him to line up, to come, basically get right in front of myself. So I see him come in. I'm looking. I'm trying not to be too obvious. I don't want him to see me looking through the tray slot, but there's wire mesh over there, and then we got bars, so I could see him through the wire mesh. I didn't have to lean down and look through the tray slot. So like I said, he's oblivious, and when he gets right in front of my cell, I let it go. Woof! Booyah! Bam! I hit him in the gut. I hit him in the ribs, and when I hit him, he jumps back and damn near steps on the CO that's escorting him. The CO that the one that I gave the heads up to. He damn near steps on his feet trying to back up. He backs away. But I hit him good. He's leaking. And the CO's like, "Oh, shit." So this dude is like, he looks and he's trying to figure out what's going on. He looks over at my cell and he's like, "You motherfucking punk cat." So he starts cussing me out. "Bitch ass motherfucker," right? He's just putting it all over the tier. CO turns him around, walks him out, slams the door shut, locks the door to Little Max. And I'm breaking down the spear now. I'm breaking it down. I can hear this dude walking down the tier, telling other people on the tier, "That fucking punk ass motherfucking boxer, he just speared me, dog. Like, he just speared me." He's like, "Look, I'm fucking leaking, man." So I hear him put him in the cell, and I hear the CO come out, and I hear their gate shut. Bam! And then the CO walks up front. I'm thinking they're coming in 35 deep. They're going to come in. They're going to tear me up. They're going to come in and tear up Little Max. So 10, 15 minutes go by. I'm waiting for them to come up on a warpath. I'm waiting for them to come through and just tear our shit up and take me up out of there, do whatever they're going to do. But they don't come up. And the whole time, this whole 10, 15 minutes that I'm waiting, this idiot is over there just talking shit. "Man, fucking punk ass, your mother's this and that." And he's mad. Obviously, he's mad. He got, but he's over there and he's telling the whole story, man. He told the whole story like 7 times. I was walking through there, dog, you know what I mean? And I don't even know that fucking punk, you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, I see something come flying through the tray slot, and he hit me in the ribs, bro. He's like, "I got a fucking nice size little hole." And like I said, he must have told the story about 7 times. So I'm like, "Man, shut the fuck up, man. Shut up. Quit putting it out there on the tier, man." You know what I mean? I don't say nothing to him, but I'm just thinking that to myself. So like an hour has passed now, and nobody's coming on the tier. They stopped running showers midway. They just stopped. They stopped the program. And I don't know what they're doing, but they're not searching. So I'm waiting back there for them to come back, see whatever they're gonna do. And the officer, the one that I gave the heads up to, he never comes back there again for the rest of the night. He doesn't come back there. There's another CO that was working with him that comes back there. He's another cool ass CO. He comes up to my gate and he's like, "Hey, old boy's pissed off at you, man. You know, he's mad. He understands your situation, but he's pissed off. You know, he told me that you told him that he was going to take care of something, but he didn't think that's what you were talking about." And I was like, "Well, what did he think I was talking about?" You know, I told him I was going to handle my business, man, you know, and that was out of respect for him. Hey, man, tell him, you know, it's not intended to disrespect him, but I got to do what I got to do to get off this tier, man. I got to do what I got to do to get back on an active tier. So it's not personal. Tell him I understand he's got to do what he's got to do. And he's like, "Nah, he's not saying shit. You know, he didn't see nothing. As far as he's concerned, nothing happened." And he said that and he's just looking at me. He's like, "You know what I mean?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got you. Nothing happened." You know what I mean? Like, yeah, what are they talking about anyway? What, something happened? So anyways, you know, he threw that subliminal at me and I'm like, yeah, it's straight up. Nothing happened. So the rest of that night, like I said, he doesn't come back there. They run mail. They they come back there. They feed. But this dude, I'm thinking to myself, damn, he's really pissed off at me. So, anyways, the next day, nothing happens. Nothing happens. I'm thinking that, you know, they're probably gonna come up the following day. They didn't come up last night because it's not the like that. That's not the main shift. The main shift is like first watch. So, anyways, nothing happens the next morning. So the guy that's in the last cell in Little Max, he ends up getting moved somewhere, and they move in some other cat. Just so happened to be named Boxer, Ralph Avalos from San Jose. So he moves on the tier, and this is like the first time now that I've been around a Norteño dropout. And in my situation, being that my mind is still, you know, I'm still pushing. I'm still, as far as I'm concerned, nothing has changed. It doesn't matter what these idiots in the county jail, what they've done. You know, my mind, I'm still pushing that line. So I mean, like, as soon as he moves on the tier, there's tension. I don't greet him. I don't yell down to him. And usually, you know, when you hit a tier, that's normally what somebody would do. Even though that, like, even on dropout tiers, still a northerner would still reach out and touch, you know, get at another northerner, or, you know, at least somebody would holler at him. And it didn't happen. Nobody really hollered at him. His neighbor was a scrub, so it wasn't like he was gonna get at him and tell him, "Hey, you know, here's a care package." He was a bum. So nobody gets at him that night. You know, I want to say my neighbor to the left, he struck up a conversation with him, a brief conversation, but that was it. So my mind, you know, everything that I had done the other night was a fail. Even though I got this dude, I speared him. It was a fail because it didn't produce the results that I wanted. I appreciated the fact that these COs didn't get me caught up. I didn't catch a case, but it was almost like I wanted them to go, you know, strike up some paperwork on me. I wanted them to go, you know, let everybody downstairs know so that, you know, this process could start. Hey, Boxer's up there spearing motherfuckers. We got to get them off the tier. But it was counterproductive. Nothing happened. Nothing. So the third, you know, we're like 2 days, 3 days go by, and this idiot still next door, he's still talking shit. He's still talking shit 2 or 3 days later. Every chance he gets, every time he wakes up, he yells, "Hey, you motherfucker." So, but I ignore him. You know, the bottom line is, you know, I'm trying to serve a purpose. I have an objective, and it's not personal. You just so happen to be the big mouth that, you know, ended up being the target. So now, you know, I'm thinking like, okay, what's plan B? Plan B is, you know, now they're not going to run North Max in no more. I know they're not going to run them cats in because of what happened. So plan B, unfortunately, is The only thing that I can do now is spear somebody in Little Max. This new cat that came in, Ralph Avilos, boxer. Again, it's like 4 days later, and I still haven't talked to him. And I know he's feeling the tension. He's like, "Who the fuck's this dude?" And he's not hollering at me. There's no communication, so he's got his feelers out there with me. Anyways, the first day they run showers, I got a spear ready. It's not the one that I had. The tip that I had, I flushed that the same day. I thought they were coming, so I got rid of the tip and everything. But I had another tip. It was enough to break flesh, and that's all I really cared about. Wasn't going to kill nobody up there. All I wanted to do was to spear this cat, get a good one in, and, start that process. So the first day they come back there, the next day they come back there to shower us in Little Max. They go to his cell and ask him if he wants to shower. He refuses a shower. So I'm like, I'm not gonna get my neighbor, the guy next to me. If I absolutely have to, I'll get him. But in my mind at that time, I was like, I'm not gonna get this dude. He's a scrub. He's a J cat. I'm gonna get this other cat. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my neighbor now to get this dude to come out. And I see, I figured out a way how to do it. So they run showers that night, nothing happens. I break my spear down. I got to wait 2 more days because they run showers every other day. So, I get in my neighbor, and even though he's a scrub, he's smart enough to understand what's going on. Because remember, when I made that announcement and I told these guys, "Hey, don't walk by myself," he understood. He understood. And I had got at him on paper, and I told him, "Look, I'm not going to get you, man. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to shower, go ahead. But your neighbor, the new guy that just came in, I need you to do me a favor. Get at him and tell him something like, 'Hey, with all due respect, hey, homie, back here, there's only 4 of us. And, I imagine at some point you're going to use the shower. And the way that we do it is we all clean the shower, once a week. And, yesterday was your day. I know you passed. So, with all due respect, tomorrow, can you go ahead and knock it out?" So he tells him this on the tier. He doesn't get at him on a kite. So I'm listening, and he bites. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "It's all good." And he even told him, when you clean it, he's like, they hook you up. They give you an extra breakfast tray too. So he's like, "Oh, is that right?" He's like, "Okay, yeah, cool. I'll shower tonight then." So I'm ready again now. I'm ready. I put my spear together again. I got another good one. It's nothing like the first one, but I got a good one. I used a paper clip. It's all I had. You gotta improvise with what you got up there. Yeah, it's not a piece of steel, but it was a paper clip that I used just the tip. I sharpened it to a good point, and I used just the tip rolled in paper real tight, just so that I used the paper clip just to break the flesh. And all that was, the whole purpose was to just break the flesh, and then the rest, it just depends on how hard you hit them, right? So I got my spear ready, and they come up to shower, and he's the first one. Well, no, matter of fact, he was the last one because he said he was going to clean the shower that night. So they showered the other 2 first. They shower us 3 first. We all go in. I passed that night. Matter of fact, I ended up passing that night because I had the spear myself. So they're running showers. They ran in my other neighbor to the left, and then they came back. They got my neighbor to the right. When they come on the tier, to get him, I got the spear in the same place. It's in front of my door. I got it right there. But as soon as the CO walks by my cell, he can't see in my cell. I'm gonna have it ready. So he puts my neighbor in, he uncuffs him, and then he goes to boxer cell, Ralphie, whatever you want to call him. You guys from San Jose, I know a lot of you know him. He's been around. Anyway, so he cuffs up, and I'm watching, out the side of my grill gate. I'm watching, he backs up. He comes out cautious. I can tell he's like a deer in the headlights. He's expecting something to happen. He's not stupid. because check it out. So he comes by my cell, and when he gets by my cell, I notice that he walks way close to the wall, as far away as he can, because he sees the phone is right there and my tray slot's open. So he probably looked at that tray slot and was like, I'm staying away from that motherfucker, right? And he was right. As soon as he gets in front of my cell, I had to go all the way out, damn near to the wall. But I hit him. I still hit him in the stomach. To be honest with you guys, 100%, keeping it 100, it probably did more of a scratch than anything. I mean, I'm sure it broke the flesh a little bit with the paper clip. It had a nice point on it, but at the end of the day, it didn't like penetrate and go up in his gut or nothing like that. It hit him and it bounced off. I seen what it did. It gave him a nice, good, thick ass welt, and it broke the skin a little bit. So as soon as I do that, he did damn near the same thing that the other cat did. He backed up, he backed into the CO and pushed him back. And he's like, man, what the fuck, bro? And I don't say nothing. I don't respond to him. And the CO that was escorting him was somebody that I had known the entire time I'd been there. He was a cool ass dude, another cool CO. But check it out. So he puts him in his cell and he uncuffs him and he walks out. He walks out. I hear him lock Little Max and he smashes off. So this dude's in his cell and he's quiet now. He don't say nothing. And I'm like, hey, check it out. Hey, boxer. So I already knew who he was. I'd heard him talking on the tier. And I tell him like this. I'm like, hey, bro, check it out. It's nothing personal. I don't know you. I don't got no issues with you. Unfortunately, bro, you were just the unlucky one that ended up getting targeted. So when I said that, he was like, you know what? He's like, yeah, I'm going to be real with you, bro. He's like, I kind of felt like something like that was going to happen. He was like, he opened up after that. He's like, hey, based on the fact that you didn't reach out to me when I hit this tier, he's like, I knew something was up. From day one, I knew something was up. And when my neighbor got at me and told me that, he wanted me to go in the shower and clean the shower, get my one day in, he's like, even though I knew that it was a setup, I still had to go anyway just to see if it really was. And sure fucking enough, it was. He's like, it's all good, man. He's like, I don't know your situation. I don't know your situation, but man, he's like, I'm not taking it personal, bro. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So check it out. After that, around 20 minutes later, the CO that was escorting him when that happened, he pops open Little Max. He walks in. He's like, check it out, man. He's like, check it out. I'm not trying to get caught up in you guys' bullshit. I'm not trying to get called to go to court. I'm not trying to strike up no paperwork. I'm not trying to do none of that shit. He's like, look, if I go down to the officer's dining room and I get you guys all a fucking fat ass tray of the food that we eat, he's like, can we call it a day and just let it go and you guys take care of your shit on another shift? Hell yeah. All of us were like, yeah. Even Boxer Avalos, he was like, yeah, man. He's like, it's all good, So anyways, we all eat like kings that night. We all eat like kings. I break my spear down, but then again, I'm like, man, this is some bullshit. This is 2 times now that I've speared cats back there, and both times it didn't produce the results that I wanted it to produce. It was for nothing. I mean, it was cool that these COs were looking out and they didn't want to push the issue. Some of it was because they didn't want to get caught up themselves, but so I was like, I got to figure something else out. But come to find out, I wouldn't after all, because so like the next day after that, they shut down the program. And I thought the whole jail was shut down, that they were doing something else in the jail. Maybe they were searching or they had an incident somewhere, but it was really just the 3 max tiers back there. So they shut down the max tiers. They don't run showers. Nothing's happening back there. There's no movement. And, I'm thinking, okay, they're probably going to come search or somebody might have said something. So anyway, later on that day, they start pulling cats out. I can hear them in North Max. I can hear them taking people out one by one, and then they're bringing them back in. Well, what they were doing was they were doing interviews. So they're pulling all these cats out, and they're all telling them that, I had speared this dude a week before. This is the first target. They were all telling him that I had speared that cat, and they told him that the CO was escorting him when I speared him. So that got the CO caught up. It got real messy, man. Check it out. So this is what ends up happening. So they end up interviewing all these cats. When they were done with North Max, they came into Little Max, and they pulled out Boxer, Ralph Avalos. They pull him out. He comes back in. Then they pull my neighbors out. They pull everybody out but me. So when Boxer comes back, he tells me, he's like, hey, bro, I didn't tell him shit. He's like, they asked me if, I knew, if I was aware that if you were spearing people. And, he said no. He's like, as far as I know, I don't know nothing about that. I've been asleep the last couple of days. I just came in. So I'm like, these motherfuckers. Okay, well, at least the ball's rolling now. At least that's what they're doing. So, my neighbors come back and basically tell me the same thing. They said that they didn't say nothing, which they probably did. These cats don't want me on the tier because of what I was doing. So later on that evening, classification comes up on the tier. Cobb came up there by himself. At least I thought he was by himself. So he comes on the tier, and he comes in front of my cell, and he's like, hey, check it out, man. He's like, I'm gonna just tell you like this. We can't have you up here. We got to move you. He's like, there's several inmates that are saying that you're spearing people up here and that you're assaulting people, and people feel threatened. So we have to move you. And, he was dead serious. It wasn't like he was taking it personal, but he was being dead serious. You know what I mean? And that's because he had company with him that I didn't know about at that time. So, when he said what he had to say, I was like, hey, Cobb, it's all good. It's all good. I've been telling you guys to get me off this tier. And, it's like it's been going in one ear and out the other. And, I'll move. I don't have a problem moving, but I'm telling you right now, Cobb, I'm not wearing the top. And if you guys are going to force the issue and you think I'm going to wear the top, then I'm ready to go the distance. However you guys want to deal with it, we'll deal with it. I know I'm not going to win. So I let him say what he had to say, and then I tell him like this. I'm like, check it out, Cobb. I don't got a problem moving. I'll move. I'm not going to cause you guys no problems. But if you guys are going to try to make me wear that top, I'm telling you right now, I'm ready to go the distance. I'm not wearing that top. It's not going to happen. I've been telling you guys, man, I got my interest to protect. I know you guys got a job to do, and that's cool. But that's where we're at, man. So when I said that, Cobb turns to his left and he says, Sarge. He's like, he doesn't want to wear the top. Is it okay with you guys if he walks over in his t-shirt? I didn't even know there was anybody in the hallway, but the whole hallway was lined with cops in full gear. They had helmets on, they had shields. They were ready to come in there and do a cell extraction. But the sergeant was like, I don't care. I'm just here to facilitate the move. If he'll walk over there in a t-shirt and there's no problems, we don't got a problem with it. So that's what they did. They cuffed me up and they escorted me over there. I get escorted with about 20 cops that all got, helmets, shields. They got their billy clubs and all that. So they take me to the observation cell in 3rd East. It's an observation cell that I've been to. This is the second time now I've been to this observation cell. I would end up staying there for about a good 2 weeks. But, they put me in that observation cell and they left. And after that, there was no issues. They didn't end up hitting me with no case. They didn't find no weapons. So nothing like that happened. However, both the cops that worked on the tier, they both ended up getting caught up. And they got caught up because the inmates that were on the tier in North Max, they told on them. They all told on them. They were like, hey, this cop right here was escorting such and such when he speared him, and they didn't say nothing. They just put him back in the cell. And this cop was escorting such and such when he got speared, and they made a big issue out of it. Trust me, they did. So after that, I want to say it was about a week later. It's about 2 o'clock at night, and I'm knocked the fuck out. And they come to my door. So the CO tells me the sergeant wants to talk to you about that incident that happened in Little Max. I'm thinking it's a write-up. It's a write-up that they're gonna hear, because they did write me up. They didn't slap no case on me. They just gave me a write-up. So I get up and I go over there it was in an attorney visiting room, and this sergeant at first tries to act like he was on this CO side, but he was trying to get him caught up. They had an IA investigation on this officer, but he was hella cool. And I wasn't about to burn this dude. I didn't want no part of that. It was these dudes in North Max that got them all caught up. So the sergeant, he asked me, he's like, hey, look, I work with internal affairs, and he was like, so I understand on such and such a date. He's like, and this has got nothing to do with the officers that work back there, but you had an incident where you speared another inmate. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking? You sure you got the right guy? Yeah, I play stupid to the fullest. He goes, come on, Boxer, you know what I'm talking about. He's like, man, I'm not gonna slap a case on you or nothing like that. We're not, this is not for that, And I'm like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, so you don't remember spearing somebody? There's like 2 incidents. I tell him, I don't have no idea what you're talking about, man. I think you got me mixed up with somebody else. So then he goes, you know what, man? He's like, so you don't know nothing about these 2 spearings? And I'm like, hell no, nah, man. I think you got me mixed up with somebody else. Then he tried to play it like he was on the cop side. He's like, you know what? That's pretty cool, man. Such and such is going to be happy, that you're not throwing him under the bus. He's like, I'm sure he'll be happy about that. So I was just like, this dirty ass cop. I see right through his game. Anyways, they ended up moving the cop, the main one, the first one, the CO that was part of the first incident. I would end up seeing him like a year later. He was floating around in the jail. By then, shit had calmed down, obviously, and I seen him, and I was like, hey, man, what's up, bro? It was like, what are they doing with you? He was like, oh, man, they're treating me like a stepchild, man. It's all bad. He's like, you know what? It's so bad that I'm getting ready to retire. I'm going to retire like next month. So, he got all caught up. The other cop, same thing with him. He ended up getting caught up. But the thing about him was he wasn't close to retirement. So, he just had to take the abuse. He was getting a lot of static from the higher ups in the administration of the county jail. So anyways, that's pretty much what happened in Little Max up until that point. This is a good spot to stop right here, because what happens next is, another major hurdle or another major part in this story. But at the end of the day, the 2 spearings, they ended up serving its purpose. It just didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. This story right here is I'm not glorifying what I did, because I reverted to violence in order to serve my purpose. But in that lifestyle, in that situation that I was in at that time, I had to do what I had to do. There was no other way to do it. Being in jail, being in prison, it's that type of environment. Those are the type of things, violence is the motivating force. It's the force that makes things happen. So, it is what it is. So anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one right here. I know this is another cliffhanger. It gets good from this point on, trust me. But at least I'm off that tier. I'm off the tier. I'm back in an observation cell. And I know, at least, the way I'm thinking now is like, you know what? They're going to have to make some choices now. I know they're, the administration, classification, they're probably like, you know what are we going to do with this dude? Now he's starting to become a management level issue. He's starting to act out. So what are they going to do? Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one. I'm going to try to get you guys out something tomorrow or the next day. There's some things I got to take care of. So We'll see what happens. If not, if anything, I'm going to get you guys out some chapters. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You're no longer on that cliffhanger. You guys all knew what was going to happen. You guys knew I was going to spear somebody up there. But anyways, with that being said, this your boy B, and I'm out.